So this afternoon, I have a parent with me who's been sharing with me some concerns. So I want to thank you for coming to chat with us, just so that your concerns can be shared a little more widely and others can be a bit more aware. So can you just tell us briefly what's happening at your son's school?
So, firstly, thank you, Di, for having me. My concerns for my son is that at his school this year, he's come home and told me that there is a girl changing in the boys' change room and she is changing down to her underwear.
Mm.
The boys are seeing her bra. It's making my son uncomfortable and he feels he has nowhere to go to talk to anyone about it because he's in an environment where he's seen that those sort of conversations are shut down. He's also concerned of being ostracised and being sent to a different bathroom. And as a male, I don't think that's right, considering it is a male change room. And when I asked him about it, he did share that his friends also are not comfortable with the situation. And I fear for the girl's safety because it's not supervised. There's no teacher supervising this girl in the change room with, I think, up to 24 teenage boys. And
So how old is your son?
13 when this began. He's 14 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's been going on for about 10 months from what you told me, since the
Yes.
start of the school year. We're almost at the end. So your son doesn't want to talk to the staff. Why is that?
Because with this school and the agenda that is on at the moment, my children know that their voice is not heard. There are so many things they've had, days, weeks, months of LBGT plus where their opinion has not been considered. There was one boy who had a differing opinion, and to my knowledge he was actually expelled from the school for having a different opinion.
So in a sense, from what you've said to me, it's almost like he's afraid he'll be called transphobic, a hater. When he doesn't hate the girl, he just feels really uncomfortable about the situation.
Yes, 100%. And I know one of the boys with his mother, she also doesn't, he thinks his mum won't speak out for that reason, that no one wants to be called homophobic.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is part of what's happened with our radical left-wing agenda, is that we can't have a rational discussion around concerns of girls in boys' change rooms or boys in girls' toilets because there's that fear of being labelled LGBT phobic or anti-gay or other such labels, which unfortunately hasn't been helped by really a very radical left-wing education system that we're now living under. So you said you're also concerned for the young lady?
Yeah, so this, from what I'm hearing from my son, is this girl is actually being ridiculed in the change rooms because she's with teenage boys who have not reached full mental brain development. So there's no adult there to monitor that. And so I'm actually concerned for this girl, the way she's being treated when unsupervised.
And I think another concern for me is that, she's probably believes that she's a boy in a girl's body, because I can't think of any other reason a girl would be in the boys' change room. And yet we know scientifically there's no evidence based on biology that that's based around I feel. And, I don't know at what point feelings became the acceptable scientific evidence, but we know time and time again people with gender dysphoria have been affirmed in their dysphoria, and now we're seeing lawsuits where they're saying you didn't look at my mental health issues. And I can actually understand why a girl might think that they'd want to be a boy in a girl's body, because personally my dad was a farmer and he loved his sons to the point that there was so much favoritism, and I had this real sense of rejection. It was really deep. And and that actually wasn't just a feeling, because when my dad died, he left us $1,500, $1,500 as daughters, and the sons received the equivalent of $100,000. And so you can see that there was a strong bias towards sons. So if someone had said to me, you could be a girl in a boy's body, I wanted my dad's love and acceptance. I probably would have brought that lie myself. So I'm really glad I didn't grow up with that education. I'm so happy who I am as a female, but I could have easily been vulnerable to that teaching that we see today. Is there anything else you want to say about the concerns that you have?
Just as a parent, I wasn't notified of the school taking this stance, and I feel that the school is making decisions concerning my son's welfare outside of my knowledge and outside of my concerns. So yeah, and I have concerns for the girl, and I don't want to be labelled homophobic. That's not transphobic. Yeah. I'm not that way inclined. Yeah, and I'm concerned that if this continues, parents just won't have a voice. Parents already feel like they don't have a voice, and I'm actually not even sure how much of a voice we still have.
And in a sense, from what you've said to me, you feel like that the school has a policy you didn't even know they had, where a girl could be in a boys' change room, but you actually had no communication that was a policy of the school.
No communication at all.
So I have a friend who is involved in child safe legislation and work, and I know one of the things you've been asking is, what can I do as a parent? So once I receive that information, I will let you know what that information is, and we will be also recording that for other parents who are in a similar situation as yourself. So thanks again for being willing to discuss your concerns, because I know it's difficult, and that you feel quite vulnerable in sharing those concerns. So thank you for taking the time to do that today.
And thank you, Di. Thank you for supporting me as a parent to be able to raise my children the way I see fit.
You're welcome.